Hi guys, definitely forgive my lack in energy today. And if you haven't seen it, what the freaking heck? Go take a little peek. Guys, I got something very exciting to share with you. Okay, you might have heard, you probably didn't, but your girl's gonna be on Hannibal is Hungry Monday night, 9 p.m. specifically.
First off, I've had the diarrheas ever since we talked about it, but
Hannibal is Hungry is gonna have me on his show Monday night at 9 p.m. and I am more than ecstatic. I'm more nervous than I am ecstatic. Obviously, I've only done like an interview kind of thing once for The Mountain, and yeah, I was pooping myself the whole time. That stuff is a lot more intimidating than it looks. I find myself to be an extreme introvert. But I feel like once I get to know somebody, it's really easy to let my personality out and everything. But more so than anything, thank you, Hannibal, for even giving me the opportunity, especially because I'm such a small YouTuber. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun because I'm not a very serious person. Guys, I can't even tell you how excited.
I feel like a little gay right now.
I'm so excited. And like I said, it would mean the world to me if you guys could at least just come say hi Monday night. I know it's a holiday. My boy Columbus, he's not my boy. But yeah, that would mean a lot to me, guys. That'd be pretty freaking sick. Other than that, yeah, that's really all I got. All right, guys, so let's just go ahead and get into the video. Like I said, it's just VALDESTOT'S, Shannon, and I all having a good conversation. Should be recording. Okay, cool. All right, so we have my friend Shannon with us and a very special guest, VALDESTOT'S voice. He's also gonna be giving his opinion on some of the things here. Like I said, this shouldn't take too long. Just to give you guys a really quick summary, and I'll have to read a few things just so you have context, but this probably won't go in the video here.
I don't see the negatives to it. And like for the Social Security thing, like, I think it's also about like, let's just say you made $30,000 a year, right? Let's just put that number out there. You would have to like retire at some other day and time, money making you $30,000 a year. You'd have to run the math. So how much money do you need if at 5% interest rate? So it's fine. Like all those benefits are just like, it's probably just fine. Like
and we're talking about the independent proposition, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I mean, the employee thing, like I always have such feelings about like, it's so much better. Like I have kids or whatever, to be able to just have your freedom and I hate red tape. I hate like bosses. I hate reviews. So I personally think like staying independent is just so much, it's just a healthier for me lifestyle.
Absolutely. VALDESTOT, what do you think?
Okay, so there's a lot of moving parts. And realistically, from, you've seen some of my videos already, and you know how, like I said, I was a driver advocate and I'm a numbers guy. Okay,
right.
So you know what these gig apps are doing. They want to basically model it similar to California's AB5. I mean, that's literally what they're doing. They don't want drivers to become employees because they obviously would have to pay taxes. They'd have to pay minimum wage. They'd have to pay benefits. They'd have to, be under the guidelines and auspices of governmental employee rights, and whatnot. And they don't want to do all that because they would be on the hook for everything and they would not make as much profit, because their expenses would be way higher than what it is now. So obviously they're going to try to work with the coalition for the independent contractor route. But this time, because AB5 happened in California, they kind of have a baseline guide model, and they want to, in my opinion, we are starting, as you said, times are changing, and we are starting to get into the mindset of, we're not going to go down the AB5, a California route, we want more. Drivers want more, especially Massachusetts. It seems like you guys have, based on what Shannon said, you're saying you guys have a better system over there than California. You're a smaller state. You're more in control. You have a better healthcare system, probably better educational, financial backing. You know what I'm talking about. So in essence, I think they're trying to avoid making us employees, knowing that drivers definitely don't want to be employees. As Shannon said, she definitely probably doesn't want to be an employee either. So we have the flexibility, because number one thing for drivers is flexibility. All we really want is, in my opinion, you said benefits are kind of minor. It's not that big a deal. Okay. It boils down to knowing full information, which DoorDash in particular will not give. Because if we get full information, we're going to reject 30% of the orders, because 30% of the orders are no tip, low tip offers. Mm-hmm. And they only care about service fees. They could care less about how much drivers get tipped. Shannon, you're a hairstylist from what I heard, correct?
No, I have an independent business contracting. Yeah. No.
Okay, sorry. I was under the impression you were.
Yeah, you do like design business, I think, right?
It's user research. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, my apologies. So
no worries.
As an independent contractor for your business, right? Let's compare your business to what Faith and I have to go through, and all the rest of the drivers. So you are your own boss. You set your own rates. You basically don't have to worry about driving expenses to the extent that we do, wear and tear, gas, all that. So when you set your own rates, you don't have to worry about pay being hidden by a third-party entity to force you to work, correct?
Correct. My problem would be that you guys can always guarantee yourself work. Like, you have a limited amount of work. It's just whether you want to do it. My problem is like the opposite. Like, I have to find people to give me work. I don't have a pipeline always coming in.
Understood. Okay. So there's a trade-off here. Okay. So you're your own boss. You work when you want. No one tells you what to do. You set your own rates. The only drawback is, as you said, you have to find clients. Us.
Yes. Yeah. And I should give another piece of the puzzle, though, is that I don't have to worry about benefits or anything, because I have another human being who brings benefits into the household. So if I had to worry about healthcare and some other things, I would be in a different position, because I do have to have insurance for healthcare. Like, there's no if, and, or buts about that. Like, I would have to be paying out of pocket somehow for insurance, which would be very stressful for me.
Of course, being an independent contractor business owner, if you don't have clients, you're not working, you're not making money, and obviously with no benefits for your kids, healthcare and whatnot, thank goodness you have another person that actually does take care of those benefits. But for us, for Faith and me and all the rest of the drivers, we have to literally gamble. Now, there are other gig tubers like Pedro and a few other ones out there, right, that state, well, if you're experienced enough, you can kind of guesstimate what the pay will be, even though it states a certain pay amount that you have to be forced to accept or reject without knowing what it is. So case in point, just for your information, Faith, have you ever explained to Shannon how the pay system works on DoorDash?
Yes. Yeah. We covered that last week.
Vaguely,
we were talking about how she could get like $2.25 for getting like one order that could take 30 minutes. That's mind blowing to me.
Okay,
I only told her the base pay.
Okay, there's another part of that you don't know. So this week I did a video on this a couple of months ago, and literally I was the customer that ordered from DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, right?
Sure.
And one other video was this. I live about 7 miles away from downtown Chattanooga. Okay, so the $1 per mile or more is literally the base of what a driver should be getting. And sometimes it should be more in certain areas based on cost of living. Okay, so, but for my area, about $1.50 a mile is in that range, is about where it should be at. So as a customer, I ordered food. I put a $20 tip in there, $20, right? just to be a good guy and because I'm a driver and whatnot. And it literally took about 25 minutes before I was assigned a driver. And I ordered from Chile, so I know the order is ready within 10-15 minutes at that point in time. It was off hours. So I asked the guy, who was a top dasher, Faith, by the way, that he's the only one that took it. So pretty much this is what happened. 25 minutes, and it took about another 20 minutes for him to get to my place, which shouldn't take that long. So it might have been multi-apping. I don't know. Didn't ask him that. But the point of it is, I asked him, how much was your offer that you showed on the screen? It showed on the screen before you accepted it. He said $11. And as Faith said, it was a $3 base pay. So it only showed $8 of my tip for him to accept it. Most drivers would be borderline wanting to take a customer's order for going 7 miles one way, round trip. It'd be 14 miles for $11. What DoorDash does is it literally states on the driver's app, pay may be higher. Okay. So they are literally hiding $12 of the tip. And when he finally completed the order after delivering me the food, after interviewing him, it came up to close to $22.
I think the whole thing is that they just aren't consistent with what they show people. And I think what I wanted to add on was just like, yeah, I guess I wasn't even like thinking about that. Like the biggest thing that a lot of these drivers want, really, it isn't benefits, it's transparency.
Yeah. You want to see how much you could be making, because it's just completely like not. You're right. What you said was you cannot make an informed business decision about your time and energy without seeing those numbers.
I didn't even like the Valdes
really unfair really good and unreasonable.
That's why I brought it up, because they don't. If we were all employees, they would have to abide by governmental rules and laws. But if they go on the independent contractor route, like they did in California with AB5, and what they're trying to do with the coalition in Massachusetts for independent contractor drivers, they're still going to have their say, and they may not even opt to show the transparency, which is desperately needed for drivers to make informed decisions. That's why they're pushing that route, because in addition to avoiding taxes and full governmental rules and regs, they can still do what they want to do on their side, such as hiding transparency.
Do you know if Instacart works that same way?
Yes. They all do. They all hide either mileage. They all hide some aspect, and they do. I believe all of them hide tips. Maybe not Grubhub.
Grubhub does not.
Yeah, Grubhub doesn't. But Uber
you know
Eats,
what?
DoorDash.
That's funny, because I use when I use food delivery, I rarely use DoorDash. I usually use Grubhub, because they have the restaurant.
Yeah, Grubhub is like the highest tier, I think, out of all of them in terms of respect to the driver. But I wanted to remark on what VALDESTOT'S said again, because when I was looking at all this, they got me too. Like, all you're thinking about is the benefits. But like, I wasn't thinking about the transparency anymore. You know, I wasn't really thinking about that. And that's so true. Like, they just tried to dangle all these like things that we don't actually need. We just want transparency and to maintain the flexibility.
Well, and if you had that transparency, which would give you visibility into making informed business decisions and making potentially a higher income, you could weigh your options with benefits, because maybe, I don't know what you guys file yourselves as, but maybe you could do like, a 401k. There are other
1040
types of saving. There's other types of investments that you can do, where you'd be able to invest your money in other ways than the benefits they're giving you, if you knew you could make a reasonable income from what you were doing.
Yeah, 100% correct, Shannon. You just hit it right on the head.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I think that's a good point to like end all, but like I wasn't thinking about that at all, like the transparency whatsoever.
Well, also this is like alarming for me because as my when we were in lockdown or whatever, we like got the Instacart, like I paid for a membership or whatever, and I always like slam bam thank you them so much for being out there and being frontline workers, and I always did an excellent tip up front, like hoping somebody would pick, because there's millions of people here doing Instacart all of a sudden. Like I was hoping if part of it was like an incentive, like I'm going to give them just the best tip anyways, but like then I thought that they see that stuff and would pick up my order quicker. But knowing one time, one woman, I mean, I'm sure I left like, I always do like 25% or whatever. Not always, but like mostly I try to. And the woman had left me a gift that did my order. So I'm wondering, like, I thought, oh, she was just happy that I like gave her a large tip or whatever, but theoretically she didn't know her tip until she delivered the groceries, right?
Oh, you know what? I think Instacart too is like heavily rely on ratings. So I think they're probably doing that just to get a good rating because they have to maintain a certain rating in order to continue working.
I think it's so bad.
No, go ahead, Valdestot.
Yeah, sorry.
They need the high rating because from what I've heard from other Instacart workers, if they aren't above like 95%, they don't get a lot of batches in their queue. So in order to continually get good batches, they have to have a high rating.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, that's totally not known to like a consumer because I never rate.
No, it's not. I don't think they even like really I know maybe Uber Eats is pretty good about it, like flashing it once you're done ordering, like, hey, don't forget to rate your driver. But yeah, that's the other thing. They're not transparent to the customer either. They don't say, hey, by the way, we know you put a big old fat juicy tip in there, but we actually don't let them see it at all. So
does that negatively impact you if we don't rate, I wonder?
For Instacart, I don't think it like helps or hurts if you don't rate. I think it just hurts if you rate them bad.
Well, there is one thing about that, Faith, you got to think about. For every bad rating, you need a good rating to offset it. So if, let's say, out of 100 Instacart deliveries in a month, you get 5 negative ratings, and let's say, just because they could have been scamming, oh, and don't forget, Instacart's one of the only apps that allows a customer to retract their tip after the delivery. So even if you did nothing wrong and they were just
they do have that.
Yeah, they can remove the tip and then that shopper is hosed. But the point is let's say there was 5 negative ratings out of the last 100, and let's say 80 people did not rate. That only leaves 15 people that hopefully gave at least 5 stars. But what's out of the 20, 5 negative, 15 positive, and the 80 is neutral. That's a bad rating.
Yeah, so even, I guess, but if you don't leave a rating, it still hurts them. If they got like, some negative ones that they could really use that. But all around, I think that should definitely be the main point is like, they're just not even listening to us. They're just trying to shove us in one of these boxes, but they're not actually like taking the time to listen to what we have to say. They're just like working for their own agendas. And they got me too. I wasn't thinking about it.
Well, and it just made me think like, as you're delivering things, you maybe need to say to the person, if you enjoyed this service or whatever, you put your own tone of voice on it, could you please remember to give me a rating? Because you need to be your own advocate for these things to like get better work.
Very fair, very fair. Okay, guys, I know Shannon has to go here soon, so if let's go ahead and do final thoughts. If you have no final thoughts, then I will just go into my intro. But Shannon, you got any final thoughts on it?
I think you look gorgeous today. I think that your lighting and your room is so wonderful, and I love you bazillions. It was a pleasure meeting you, Valdestot. I don't know if I'm getting that right.
You are. Pleasure meeting you.